Welcome back to the Business of Aesthetics podcast. Today we are conducting an operational audit for the established practice owner. I'm your host, Don Adeesha, and it's great to have you here. There's a dangerous phrase in business. We've always done it this way. For a practice that has been open for 5, 8, or 10 years, success can breed complacency. You keep the same vendor contracts, you keep the same low margin services, and you keep the same staff, even when the data may say you shouldn't. To help us break that stagnation, we are joined by Amy Engel. Amy is the owner of Sweet Spot Medispa and has spent the last 8 years scaling her practice in the hyper-competitive Florida market. She didn't just grow, she optimized. She pivoted to challenger brands like Evolus to maximize margins and launched her own training academy to solve the recruiting bottleneck. Today, we are discussing the art of subtraction. We are going to talk about how to fire a legacy employee who refuses to adapt, how to kill unprofitable services, and why your vendor portfolio might need a complete overhaul. This episode is brought to you by Equa Marketing, the digital growth partner behind this podcast and a trusted resource for aesthetic practices looking to dominate their local markets. With that being said, welcome Amy to the Business of Aesthetics podcast.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so glad to be here.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you here. Now,
Thank you.
when you started 8 years ago, the Allergan bundle was the standard purchasing model. Today, you have pivoted to become a top 50 partner with Evolus. Was this shift driven purely by clinical preference, or was it a necessary financial calculation to protect your profit per unit as the market became more commoditized?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You are absolutely right. When I started 8 years ago, it was the Allergan model, the Botox, the Juvederm, Kybella. Um, so basically, all the medi spas, the plastic surgeons were using those products. That was just 8 years ago. But since then, there's been so many new products that have come on into the market. There is 6 neurotoxins on the market right now that's FDA approved in the US. One of those is called Jeuveau. And Jeuveau, as you mentioned, Evolus is the company that houses Jeuveau. They came out after, I see, I was in my business for about 2, 3 years, and I was introduced by one of the reps for Jeuveau. And I was really reluctant to use it because Botox is like the family name. Everybody knows that name, Botox. So I was reluctant to use a new product. And whenever a new product comes out, I always wait and see how it does in the market, see what patients are talking about, see what providers are saying about the product before I just jump into something new. And also read up on the research and the data. So Jeuveau had been out for a while, and one of my nurse practitioners said, "Hey, let's try it. Let's just see how it works." So she was my model. We tried it, and she loved it. She said it works faster than Botox. It kicked in quicker. It lasted just as long. She loved the results. And so I said, okay, well, let's just try it. The price point was lower than Botox as well. As a business owner, that was a very good thing to see that the price point was lower. That would help out with our bottom line. So I said, let's bring it on. Well, as we brought it on, I realized that Evolus not only provides a great product, but they also provide marketing and also rewards. So just like Allergan has a reward system called Ally, where if you go in, you get a Botox injection, you can receive 200 points, which is like $20 for your next appointment. Jeuveau, they actually, if when you get that product, Evolus will give you $40 on the spot, as well as every 90 days, every 3 months. And so this was a little bit more appealing as well. So my client trying the product could get a savings immediately. Then, as I got into buying more products, I realized that they really have a great marketing program where if you can buy so many vials in a quarter, they will give you all kinds of tools to help you sell that product. For instance, right now we have a billboard on one of the main roads here in town, and it has our name on it. It has my picture on it. And I already have people coming up to me and saying, "Hey, I saw you on the billboard." So the buzz is getting through, going through the town right now. They've given me lots of other marketing materials, and they've made a video, actually a commercial for our business, because we use the product. And because of that, that was really motivating for me to use the product more, right? Because Allergan doesn't do that. So, as we got into using the product more and I felt more comfortable with it, I started converting my patients from Botox to Jeuveau. I made the price point a little bit lower. However, the bottom line was better. They got a reward each time. I was happy with the marketing. And so it just kind of exploded from there. People just really started loving the product and loving the rewards, and I love the bottom line. So that's how I kind of transitioned my patients from Botox to Jeuveau. Now, not everyone loves Jeuveau. Not everyone loves Botox, but it's great to have a variety just so that you can offer that to your clients. I do have some clients that have used Botox in the past and they feel like it's just not working as well as it used to. So that's a good
Hmm.
opportunity to then just move them to Jeuveau and have them try that and see if it works. So that's kind of where my business moved into that realm of going into a different direction. But we still use Botox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Amy, does being a top 50 partner with a challenger brand like Evolus give you a seat at the table with their leadership that you never had with perhaps a giant conglomerate, you know,
Yes.
like Allergan? Okay. And how does that benefit your bottom line?
Yeah, good question. What I love about Evolus is that they do show appreciation to their top 50.
Okay.
If you are in the top 50, that means that you've sold more, well, bought more of their products than others, in the market. So when we say top 50, we mean all the medi spas, all the plastic surgeons' offices, all the primary care offices that supply Jeuveau. So if you're top 50, your business has sold the most. We were top 14 about 2 years ago. So that's pretty neat. And that's in the entire US, including, I believe, Alaska and Hawaii. So that's
Wow.
pretty exciting. Yeah. Um, and they do reward you if you are in their top, they send you to a training conference. They go all out. They just really spoil us, and it's nice. But that's not the reason. The reason is the product. I love the product. I think it is great for my clients. They love it. It is the bottom line is good. My providers love it. They use it too. When I walk into a room and a client asks me, "So what's the best? What's the best one?" We carry five of the six on the market. And I'll say, well, there is no best one, but there is a best one for you. So you're just going to have
Hmm.
to try what works best for you. And then I'll say, but if you want to know, I'm wearing Jeuveau. So I always say, I'm wearing Jeuveau. So that's, how I really present it in the spa.
Okay. I mean, that's amazing to hear. And Amy, so let's get a bit into the hiring side of things, right? 8 years ago, hiring was pretty straightforward transaction. Today, with the rise of the injector influencer, compensation expectations have skyrocketed. How
Yes.
have you adjusted your compensation models or recruitment filters, perhaps even using your academy to maintain healthy margins without losing that top talent?
Yes. So 8 years ago, it was just me in a little room. I had no idea that my business would grow to where it's at. We've had three locations. We've expanded, and we have two locations now. One of the locations that merged, well, it was two. We merged into one, so it's a larger location. Yeah, and hiring is really burdensome. It really is. It's tough. There's so many nurse practitioners and physician assistants and nurses that want to learn how to inject. They get on YouTube, they get on Instagram, they watch videos, they get their information on social media, and it might not be correct. And I've been seeing a lot of this going on, and it's scary because if we're getting our information on how to be safe with the client and to provide a good service on social media, I think that that goes down the wrong road. I think you really need to pick and choose who you get your resources from and have hands-on training. Just watching something on a video is not enough. We're dealing with people and their bodies and medical concerns, and it's very important to have that one-on-one training. Um, when I hired back 8 years ago, it I hired a nurse practitioner and I brought her on part-time and I trained her myself. And she's still with me. And in fact, I have two nurse practitioners and a physician assistant that's been with me for the last 7 years. They've never left. So that makes me feel really blessed that they're still with me because it's a revolving market right now. I have hired nurse practitioners, and physician assistants, and have trained them, and they've been with me for maybe a couple of months and then left. So I spent all that time training, and they took that with them to another spa. Basically, the reason was I couldn't give them enough hours. They were part-time. They knew they were part-time when I hired them, but they wanted full-time. It's very tough in South Florida. There are a lot of medi spas, but there's the medi spas that are popping up are brand new and they haven't been established and they don't have a lot of clients and they don't have a lot of experience. So I saw a need in the community, and even though it may be competition for me, I felt like it's important to train these nurse practitioners and physician assistants, even physicians, DOs, MDs, dentists. I've even gone to dental offices and trained because I feel like the information out there on social media is not fulfilling, it's not safe, and I just want to give that back to the community. Hiring right now, I decided that if I do hire, I will charge for my training. If they want to come on board, if they want to work for my company, they will pay for that, and there'll be a compensation, a payback when I do take them on as an employee. I kind of learned my lesson that way. Don't give free training. I got burned. So that's my
Okay.
that's my tip of the day. Don't give free training.
And just to follow up on that, do you now exclusively hire from your student pool to control culture, as well as, how do you structure their contracts to prevent them from leaving with your patients after you've trained them?
Right. Yes. Good question. I train all over. I will train all over the US. I'll even go
Okay.
global. Um,
Okay.
and I have trained outside my area of my med spa area.
Mhm.
So I do kind of target more um, students outside my area, but I have trained some nurses and practitioners that do have spas. They're starting their spas here. And I feel like it's not really competition. They're getting started. There's no guarantee they're going to succeed. But I do give them that foundation. In fact, I have a physician friend that helped. He didn't mentor me, I mentored him. So he came on as a medical director for me. And in return, I gave him training because in his practice, he wanted to start his own med spa. And it's just like a mile, 2 miles away from my spa. But it's a different market. He sees different clients. He sees patients that I wouldn't probably see. So I felt like that wasn't a conflict of interest. And I also have a plastic surgeon that I have that is a friend, and that we're in the process of sharing clients. He doesn't have a med
Oh,
spa anymore, and he doesn't like doing the Botox, the fillers, the lasers. So we have kind of that relationship where we can send clients back and forth. I have clients all the time that come in and say, I know I need a facelift, but I'm not sure if I'm ready. So then I will do treatments to kind of, help them feel young and youthful. And then they get to a point where they're ready. And then I send them off just down the street. So it's all
Okay.
a mindset. If you're comfortable and confident in your business model, then you don't really have animosity against other businesses in the area. That isn't pick and
Absolutely.
choose. You have to be careful of who you send to, right?
Okay. And in 2025, are you incentivizing your staff on retention, rebooking rates or production, total sales? Which
Yeah,
metrics has, protected your margin a bit better?
right. So most of my employees are 1099, and the reason why that is, they have been with me for a long time, is if they're not busy, if they don't have clients, our summers are very slow, then
Okay.
I am not paying them an hourly rate to do, to not have clients to just sit and wait for someone to walk through the door. Um, so they're 1099, and that worked out really good building the business. I think that's the best way to start your business is to start with 1099s. And not only that, is they have the opportunity to make so much more money because they're on a percent
Hmm.
base. So the more they work, the more they're going to make. When you hire somebody hourly rate, you can give them a commission on top. And that's a good incentive to work more. But if you're not commissioning them, they have they have no skin in the game. They're just there doing their work. Um, that's kind of the mentality of I think the younger generation right now. They're less motivated. So I like to hire 1099s from the get-go. Now, if we get to a point where we need to add another FTE, we need another full-time, then that's another conversation. And I do like to
Okay.
give commission to my full-times because, again, that motivates. But, you can really kill a business by hiring full-time employees right from the start, and you're not busy enough because you're not generating
Right.
that money. Now,
Right.
as far as incentivizing, yes, I do commission, but I do believe I've made some changes. I know we're going to talk about how to change in the market later, but I have made some changes just recently. I'm in the process of getting new software for our EMR so that I
Mhm.
can track better the services that are done, the new clients, the existing clients, returns, and also what my employees are selling, what services they're doing, and then how to maximize that and how to increase sales for 2026.
Fantastic. Now, Amy, traditional med spa model relies on episodic revenue, right? A patient comes in every 3 to 4 months. But with the recent integration of, say, the weight loss programs, for example, the GLP-1s, you have introduced monthly recurring revenue. How has this shifted in your cash flow stability and changed your ability to forecast and invest compared to the early days?
Right. Yes, because of GLP-1s, that has really changed the market scheduling system, right? So when you're coming in for toxin, Botox is every 3 to 4 months. When you're coming in for filler, it's usually every 6 to 12 months. So getting a GLP client in, you're seeing them every single week. I know like some of the businesses online where you can do GLP-1s, they just mail it to them and they never see the client in person. I think that is not a good method. I don't think that's a model that should be done, but it is being done. So when I have a client in that wants to go through weight loss, I have them come in every week. Now there gets to a point where they can go home and do their injections, and then I see them every couple weeks. But I do see them every week because things change. People have symptoms, GI symptoms on these weight loss drugs, and you need to keep tabs on them. Some people get dizzy on them. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen. And so I like to keep a tight rope on my new clients that do weight loss. So because of that, they are coming in every week. I'm seeing them every week. And I can introduce, hey, we have this other service that will help you through your weight loss journey. With GLP-1s, we're seeing hair loss. So I have just brought in a whole hair loss system and protocols to help with my clients that are having that hair loss due to the GLP-1s and the weight loss. Also, with GLP-1s, weight loss, any kind of weight loss, you're going to have skin laxity. So I have a
Mhm.
collagen protocol and I have a body tightening and facial tightening device that really helps those clients that feel like, hey, I see some sagging skin. I think let's get, this taken care of before it gets worse. So I have a lot of modalities that go around the weight loss services that can help. It's not just about weight loss either. It's also about feeling confident in yourself. And we have a lot of discussions in the spa about um, people that are, I've had people come in and crying, sad because they feel like they've just lost all control. And so we are not only there just to help with the weight loss every week, but we're there to help with other things that may be going through their head and situations that they need dealt with and just to have a conversation with. So back to your question. We have all these
Yes.
modalities that encircle around the weight loss program that we can farm out in the spa and not have to farm outside of the spa. And that's what's really helped drive revenue.
Wow. And now, weight loss patients are often different from aesthetic patients. Have you successfully, cross-sold these weight loss patients into high-margin laser or filler treatments? Or do they, usually stay on their own lane?
I think just looking back at the last couple of years we've been doing GLP-1s, um, a lot of them stay in their own lane, I'd have to say. But
Okay.
there are a
Okay.
few that, they look outside of I'm just losing weight. There's other things that I need to do. It does take time though. If they're in their mind, they come in just with the idea I'm here to lose weight, it takes them a little bit of time to then be like, oh, maybe I should try some Jeuveau. Maybe I should try getting rid of this line between my brows. And also, they do realize that because of the weight loss, they do see some things that change in their face, and we can offer that. So it's a slow process. It's not right away like, oh, you do this and this and this. On their first day, they come in for their consult for weight loss. No, it's a lot of meeting every week and discussing their goals and then offering what we have available to help them meet their goals.
Okay. Um, Now, did introducing perhaps, a weekly or monthly recurring revenue stream allow you to make capital investments, perhaps a new device that you would otherwise have been too scared to buy?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that we just purchased, end of year is a great time to buy equipment, by the way, tax deduction. But one thing that we did buy for both our locations is a skin analysis machine. So even though someone comes in for weight loss, we are going to get a baseline on that client and look at their skin and see is how's the moisture, what's the moisture in their skin, or is there hyperpigmentation, is there like large pores. All of those things can also be affected by weight loss. So if your hair is being affected, think about what your skin is being affected by just having some weight loss. So we have invested in a skin analysis. We are going to put all of our clients into the machine and get a full picture of how their skin looks, and then repeat that in 6 months after if they have lost weight or if they've met their goal. And yeah, so we bought that machine to help with other modalities as well, but also with the weight loss market.
Did you buy it to look at like how the performance is doing, or else did you buy it to further, patient education?
Both, both. So,
Okay.
one of the reasons is to see are our treatments really providing results? Because
Hmm.
we can see in the mirror so much, but when you
Yeah.
look deep down into your skin with certain lights, you can see so much more. So, and I want my clients to be like, yes, that IPL really worked, or that CO2 laser treatment
Mhm.
that I did really made my skin healthier. And I
Mhm.
want my clients to see I am doing, something good for myself. Also, it can help us diagnose and then offer treatments that we do in the spa as well to drive up revenue. So it's a win-win for the client, for us, all around.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with us so candidly, Amy.
Sure. Yes, you're welcome.
Absolutely. Now, before we continue, a quick message from our sponsor, Echo Marketing. Echo Marketing are offering our listeners a complimentary 60-minute digital strategy session. This is a one-on-one consultation with a senior strategist to help you map your 12-month high-value patient acquisition roadmap. You will get a personal diagnosis of your online presence and patient funnel, uncover untapped growth levers across SEO and social, and walk away with a clear, actionable plan tailored to your practice. You can check availability and reserve your spot in under 2 minutes at businessofesthetics.org/MSM. All right, back to the podcast. So, Amy, in 2017, the market allowed you to sell Botox as a standalone product. Today, patients shop for price. How have you restructured your menu to sell proprietary protocols, say bundled outcomes, rather than commoditized units to prevent patients from price shopping you against competitors?
Right. That's hard. And there's no way that you can prevent that. No way. So I would say my Botox pricing is a little more than my Jeuveau pricing. And the reason for that is Botox really never has really good deals. When I buy the product, it's usually the same price. And it's pretty high. It's the highest priced product on the market. Uh, and then, so like I was saying, Jeuveau really helps me with marketing. So overall, I get more out of buying Jeuveau or say Xeomin, Dysport, Daxxify. I get a little bit more out of those products when it comes to the bottom line. But when pricing units, I feel like if you love a product and you want to use that more in your business, price it a little bit lower. So my Botox, I'll just spill the beans. My Botox is $14. My Jeuveau is $12 a unit. And I usually do not have specials on Botox, but I do have specials on my other products, depending on my inventory. And also if there's any rewards programs going on that are specials with the products. Another little secret that I can give, I don't know if I should give this on the podcast or not, but I will, is I have
Oh,
Jeuveau days. So every 1 or 2 months, I'll have a Jeuveau day because I want to sell more Jeuveau because that is the best bang for my buck and my clients love it. So what I do is I will just block out a full day of just Jeuveau clients. I usually see clients I have 20-minute slots. I will book them in 10-minute slots, and they know that when they come in, they're getting a better price and that I don't have a lot of time to spend with them. It's just kind of like in and out. It's just a quick visit. You get your treatment. Most of these clients I've seen before, so I know what their dose is, and that discussion has been taken care of. I usually don't see new clients, and they will come in. I've had 70 clients before in one day. Now that was with another provider, but yeah, we can really do and maximize a big day of just having a Jeuveau day. So I would recommend, doing that every like 1 to 2 months. Don't do it too often. Your clients will get too comfortable with that.
yeah.
But we usually book solid. We're busy. We're open longer hours. It's a pretty um, busy day. It's a long day, but it's very rewarding. Everybody's happy. I'll drop the price a couple dollars per unit. And then also they can get the rewards with that. So people love that and they look forward to those specials. I don't put them on the calendar like a year ahead of time. I usually
Mhm.
announce it a month before or that the first of the month, and I'll say, okay, my day, Jeuveau day is the 20th. And then we start getting a lot of online bookings and calls and get that filled up pretty quick. And that's nice because I always know that since I've been doing this, I'm going to have a really, really robust day on the bottom line. And that helps, especially in the summers when we're slow. So
Right.
that's really helped kind of even out our monthly revenue in those slow times.
Amy, something that I felt throughout our session here is how Allergan had, seen you a bit more as transactional and how, Evolus has really cared for you as a customer, as a provider. Um, just let's reflect a little bit on that. I would like to just for our smaller practices listening in, just curious, at what revenue milestone does it become safe to leave the safety net of the Allergan bundle?
I don't really think there is. I mean, I do believe that when you start a business, a medical spa, you need to offer Botox. And you need to buy it from Allergan. Because if you don't buy it from Allergan, you can't offer your clients those rewards. You have to buy it straight from that company. Um, so I do believe you should always have Botox in your back pocket because people will come in and if you just have, say, Xeomin or Jeuveau or Daxi, they're people might not know that name and they don't have that trust. I have so many people that come in and say, "Well, I've always used Botox, so I'm going to use Botox. I don't want to change. I've always used it." They get comfortable with one. But then it's okay to add another product, such as
Mhm.
Dysport or Jeuveau or Daxxify. It's always good to have more because we are seeing that people are becoming a little resistant to some of their toxins that they've used over time. So I'll have someone
Right.
come in and say, I have been using Botox for the last 4 years and it just doesn't seem to be working very well.
Mhm.
Well, then if you have a couple of products in your
Mm.
reservoir, you can offer something different, and clients appreciate that. If you don't have a group of products to offer, they'll go down the street. So
Right.
I do believe that you should always have Botox, but it's okay to start with another product too. Have two or three. If you're starting out, have two products, Botox, and then maybe another product that you feel you can get a better deal negotiating with the company through product purchasing. So there's always ways to get better deals. You need to know your reps, and that's one thing too about Allergan
Mm.
is that they do not have reps for small spots. So when I started out, I didn't have a local rep. My rep was in
Okay.
Texas, and I was in
Oh.
Florida. So if I needed something, I had to give them a phone call and then wait for either something to be mailed to me or, just it wasn't there wasn't that communication like there is now. Um,
Mhm.
Even now, Allergan has changed a lot, and I really don't see my rep of in the area. And I think that has a lot to say about Jeuveau, about Evolus, and Galderma, Dysport, and Xeomin. I mean, all Daxxify, all the others except for Allergan, they have reps in the area, and they come and visit me. They tell me what the latest is on the products. What if FDA has approved another location,
Mm.
for approval for injection. They bring ice packs. They just help really support our spa. Whereas Allergan is kind of just out there. They're not
Mhm.
really connected to us at this point or other small spas around the U.S.
Right. So, how we started this conversation with the talks about complacency. It seems like, the bigger the player is, now they know everyone, already knows Botox.
Right,
They want Botox. So they get a bit, you know, complacent. But then here you got the other great products that are just going that extra mile and, seeing how you're doing. And that
right.
really makes it for you as well, right?
Yes, it's the personal touch. I have to say, it really does make a difference. You know, if you're not seeing your rep and you have questions and it's not easy to get in touch with them, you're going to look to another company that gives you attention, that, cares about if you're successful or not. That's really important. I know Allergan, the Alley points, they had changed how they were doing their points like a
Mm.
year and a half ago. And clients did not like that. They were not using Botox because of that. And I think Allergan, they listened to their clients and their providers, and now they're back to the rewards program that they did prior to that change year and a half ago. But at least they listened. I still believe they need to put some more personal touch in their markets. Yeah. If
Absolutely.
they
And
want to grow.
for a provider who is, I mean, who may one day strive, I don't know if you can strive for it, but strive to be top 50 or top 15 partner at a company, Evolus or Daxxify or any other one of those great products, right?
Mhm.
Um, where, what was your mindset like getting into that whole, thing? Was it planned? I'm going to, really become a top 50 partner, or it just happened organically because you believed in the product and it was just your hustle?
I would say all of it. So, when I first started my spa, it was just me. I had no idea I would have 15 employees, two locations, be a top 50. That was not even in my wheelhouse. I wasn't even planning that. It just kind of happened organically. I would have to say what grew my business the most were Google reviews. Google reviews really helped build my business because everyone that comes in that's new, I'll ask, well, how did you hear about us? And most of them say, I saw your reviews on Google. And so I kind of tapped into that and I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. So people will come in and try to tip us. And my rule in my spa is we do not take tips. The injectors do not take tips. But we would love a review. So I made a review
Hmm.
card. We hand those out. We have a review Google display on our front desk. We'll send emails out asking for reviews. And that has really grown our business a lot. I would say going to top 50 was the passion, the hustle. Yeah,
Oh,
I believed in the product. My providers believed in the product. We loved it. We just started using more and more of it, getting more and more clients through our Google reviews. It just kind of exploded before 2020. And then after 2020, of course, the slowdown because of, COVID, that really changed a lot of things. But then people were coming in the door about 6 to 8 months after COVID and saying, I'm on Zoom and I don't like how I look. Can you fix
mm,
this? And there was an explosion in the market again for neurotoxin. Even Botox had articles about how their revenue went up because of
right.
people coming in and wanting treatment. So, because of all of that, all of the things that I mentioned, that's really how we hit top 50, I believe.
That's really interesting. I mean, I think the Zoom effect was that more than ever, people were getting a lot of screen time with their own, self, right? They were
Right.
looking at themselves for a lo much longer time, and you can really pick and choose, like, oh, wow, I didn't notice there's this issue. That's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, because they're looking at their expressions. Whereas when they get up in the morning, they just look in the mirror, they're not expressing, right? But on Zoom, there's expression, and that's where they were getting the
Mhm.
Zoom effect. Yes, you're right.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. Now, um, Amy, looking back at your P&L from the early days, versus today, what is one specific service or operational expense that you happily paid for in 2017, but which is mathematically impossible to justify in the high cost environment of 2026?
Yeah, so looking back, I started with Botox, with Juvederm, and with chemical peels. And that's what I did. Those were the three things that I did when I started my business. I did chemical peels because I put it on Groupon and thought it would help get new clients in the door. So then I could sell Botox and Juvederm. Looking back, that was a great way to start because Botox was a family name. Juvederm people know that name, and chemical peels are less invasive. So that was kind of a good combination to start. Today, would I do that? No. And the reason being, chemical peels, the bottom line is not very profitable for an advanced provider. It's great for estheticians to do. They can do facials with them. I just did chemical peels to get people in the door. But the chemical peels really is not something that an advanced provider is going to be able to pay for their bottom line, right? For their overhead. So Botox too is the most expensive product neurotoxin on the market. And Juvederm is one of the most expensive product on the market. I don't use Juvederm anymore because there's other products that are less expensive that are, I think, better, that are newer, that have newer research, that are making strides in the market. So looking back, I have dropped the Juvederms. I have brought in RHA Revance fillers, which I love. And then the Botox again, I said I just keep it around because of that name. People want that product when they come in the door if they haven't tried anything else. So yeah, I think that's where the change is. I've changed to newer products to have lower costs and higher margins, and I let my estheticians do their thing. They're better at peels than I am. But that was just kind of a way to start my business, and it worked. It worked. But now, we're all grown up now. So I've changed the way that we run business. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, for my final question, Amy, before we got started with the recording, we were talking about you doing your own podcast, right? And I was just curious, since you mentioned it, that you love getting those insights, you love talking to your guests and really getting their feedback as well as information. And I was wondering, what's one of the best insights for a practice owner going into 2026 that you heard from one of your guests on your session that you thought, wow, that's really great?
Yes. So I've had a lot of guests. We just started the podcast in October. We post our podcast every Wednesday morning. So there's one once a week. I've had guests, marketing guests, one that works for Evolus, one that used to work for Galderma and other companies. I've had a biomedical engineer scientist on out of an exosome um, company. I've had so many. I've had peptide specialists on. I've had other nurse practitioners, other entrepreneurs. I've had so many people, but I would say over all of what I have recorded so far, because I have, I've stacked some of my recordings, so I'm always ahead about 2 months. I would say the best. I would have to say it was Georgia from Evolus. She gave me some great information on marketing, things that I hadn't looked at. She is a marketing rep for the Southwest Florida area, and she is also from a family, Beasley Broadcasting, a huge family in the U.S. that has been doing marketing for years. And her insight on how to look at the market was just fabulous. I never looked at it that way. We don't learn that in nursing school, how to market yourself. That's not part of our program. So when you get out into the field and you're an entrepreneur, you just have to like learn on your own. So I think having these guests on has really helped me with my own business, and I'm hoping that it'll help others. I'm not going to say what Georgia said. You're going to have to watch the podcast for yourself. So I'm not going to say all the
Understood.
good stuff that she said, but we have a lot of very, very knowledgeable, intelligent people on our podcast, and it's just been a blessing to start, and I love it. It's a lot of work, and it's just
Yeah.
one more thing on my plate that I probably am like, did I need to put something else on my plate? But I love it and I'm going to continue doing it because I think it is also helping other injectors, other entrepreneurs, and other patients, clients that want to know things that we talk about because it affects them. They want to know why we use the products we use, how we do our injections, why is it not safe, why is it safe, who to go to, who not to go to. So there's so many things on the podcast that I feel like I can give to the community, and I love it.
No. Okay, Amy, I'll take that. I'll take that. Though I wanted to inquire on a little bit more into that, but appreciate it. And with that being said, Amy, we have arrived at the end of our podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us. I
Thank you.
hope you had a good time.
Oh, yes, of course. I always enjoy having podcasts and webinars with you. You're so sweet. I really appreciate it.
That wraps up another episode of the Business of Aesthetics podcast. A huge thank you to Amy Engel, founder of Sweet Spot Medispa, for walking us through what a real operational audit looks like. From the Allergan to Evolus pivot, to a Jeuveau day that booked 70 clients in a single shift, to the hiring rule that stopped her training from walking out the door. This episode was a masterclass in subtraction. Because sometimes growth is not about adding more. It is about finding what is leaking, what is outdated, and what no longer serves the practice. If there is one thing to take away, it is this: the leak is not always in your top line. Sometimes it is in the operational decisions you made when you opened and never went back to question. Amy ran her own audit, but she did not fix everything alone. The practices that keep growing are the ones willing to bring in an outside set of eyes. That is exactly why we created the marketing strategy meeting. It is a 60-minute one-on-one session with Leela Stone, Equa's marketing director. You will walk in with the leaks you have spotted and walk out with a 12-month patient acquisition plan built specifically for your practice. No pressure, no commitment, just a clear look at what is working, what is not, and what needs to change next. Book your session at www.businessofesthetics.org/MSM. And if this episode was useful, share it with another practice owner who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you do not miss next week's episode. Until next time, I'm Adeesha. Thanks for listening.